Hi, I'm Shannon, and today I'm going to do an unboxing and review of a Roosebeck Lute harp. Brand is Mid-East. Cost was about $255. It actually came a lot sooner than I thought. It wasn't supposed to be here till tomorrow, Monday, and it actually came yesterday. Was a little nervous because the outer box was completely smashed. The person that delivered it, I had a couple of boxes, and they set a really heavy box on top of this one, and it kind of caved it in. But the inner box, as you can see, looks fine. So hopefully it's all good. So let's open this up and see what we got. I am new to harps. I've only been playing for, I don't know, maybe a month or so. So this looked really interesting. I recently purchased a larger harp. It's a full sickle made by Reese Harps in, I never can remember, it's in Indiana, Rising Sun, Indiana. And so after playing on that harp, I kind of know what a good harp feels like. So I was really curious about this one. Okay, so it looks like everything that's in the box. So it looks like it's got a bag, which I like, because you definitely, when you have an instrument, especially one that costs $255, you want it to be in something that's going to protect it. So it's got a nice outer bag with a little zipper here. Oh, got some stuff in here. Looks like a tuner and some extra strings. Yep, that's all in there. All right, so let's open this up. I've played on the full sickle a little bit. I've played around on a bean harp. Okay. All right, so in the bag, it's got a nice padding in there, so it's actually a really nice bag. And it's got a little pamphlet here. It talks a little bit about different harps. It says lute, lyre, Kinner, and Neville harps. So some of those are things I haven't heard of, but the lute harp, I've played around on that. I've played around on a lap harp, and of course I've played on the full sickle harp some, which is a bigger harp. So it's just like a little pamphlet that kind of gives you some information about the different harps, and like I guess their string names and stuff like that. So it's kind of nice, especially if you don't, if you've never played a harp. If you've never played anything and haven't read music, I'd say you might need to find, a beginner book or something like that. So, okay, so this is the harp. It's a pretty good size, actually. I mean, it looked kind of big in the pictures, but I wasn't really sure how big that was, because the lyre harps they're also called, the ones I've gotten has been also called a bean harp, but it's like a little kidney bean. It's a lot smaller. But, so this one fits pretty nice. I'm sure it's not going to be in tune, so yeah, definitely out of tune. But you know what? That's not unusual. It could have come from the company perfectly in tune, but by the time it's gone through shipping, been outside and everything, it's going to lose its tune. And with any harp, whether it's got the metal strings or the nylon strings, it's going to take a few weeks for the strings to sufficiently stretch. And so every time you pick it up, it's going to be out of tune. You're going to have to retune it. One thing I've noticed with some of the lower quality harps is it'll be out of tune by the time I get done tuning it. So I have to start over again. And it just takes some patience. Especially at first. At first, it's going to be like you just can't get it in tune, but it'll get there. You just got to keep at it. So, one of the first things I say about this harp that I really like is, do you see the string colors? You've got the white. Oh, no, that's red. You got red. You got white. You got blue. You got white. You got red. So basically, the red strings are your C's. Your blue strings are your F's. So when you're playing a piece of music, and you need to play an E, well, you can look at your harp and you know that since the blue strings are F, then the E is going to be directly behind that. So I expect that's done because when you've got a bunch of strings, you can't look at your harp and stop and count over to where you need to be. So the red and the blue make it really nice. I had purchased another harp, and it had blue, green, red, yellow, white. It had all kinds of colors, and even though it had some red and blue strings, they weren't even the C's and the F's. They were other notes. So it was impossible, especially if you're new completely to music at all and to harps. It made it really hard, and I opted to send that one back. The thing that attracted me to this harp was that I seen that it was going to come with the colors, and that really helps. You know, even with beginning music especially, it's a quick way to be able to see where your hands need to go. So I will definitely play around with this thing. It's got access to your strings on the back. So when you go to change strings out, you would go through the back here and then thread them through the front. There's these little holes through here. They come out and then they go up to your tuning pegs. It looks like the tuner will go on the back here. So when you're tuning it, depending on how you're holding it, you'll have your tuning wrench on the back, and then you'll pluck your string and turn it either higher or lower, which way you need it to go. I use an online tuner, or I should say an app that I downloaded that works really well, and so that's probably the one I'll use for this as well. I think it's called Pano Tune. It's free, so just go onto your app store and put free tuner download or whatever, and you should be able to find something that'll work for you. But yeah, I'm gonna get this in tune and play around with it for a little bit, and then I'll probably do a review later on, just showing you what it sounds like in tune and playing something very simple, because again, I haven't been playing a harp long. I've played violin for 30 something years, but harp is completely new, but you know, it's a lot of fun, and I don't think you're ever too old to learn an instrument. I will say that just from my own experience, it is harder to learn on a small harp than it is a big harp. Unfortunately, that means you're going to spend more money, but the small harps, they usually have, depending on the harp type, has a metal string, so none of those have a color. They're just steel. And if you've got 16 strings there, then you're going to find yourself trying to count over to figure out where the C is or whatever. Some of them do have the letter and which number that letter is stamped onto them, and that helps too. But still, again, you're going to have to be looking for each one. So the bigger harps, the ones that are better quality, that come with the correct colors, they do seem to be a lot easier to learn on. So that would be my advice. If you're going to learn the harp, go with a little bit bigger and one that's correctly colored. The other harp that I had that I sent back, the harp itself was fine. It was just the strings were too much, and I could have restrung it with the correct strings, but you know, I paid $160 for that. I didn't want to have to restring it correctly, so I opted to send it back. But anyway, this again is by Mid-East Musical Instruments. It is a Lute harp, and it looks pretty nice. I look forward to learning how to play on it. Thank you.